Alrighty, hello friends, how's it going? Good evening. How goes it? How goes it? Nice cans, thank you, thank you. Drua's here, Eric, Codebra, hello. ODM, Uter, hello, hello. LFK, I'm only Hoyam, hello. Fallen, 15 months, thank you. Avo, hello. Nine Walker. Cans are as big as my head. My head's kind of big, yeah. So PB. Hello, Elvin, how's it going? All right. ZMF? No, these are LCD2s from Odizi. Alright, so today isn't anything crazy. So today we're just gonna be modding an HHKB. I should also update my keyboard command, huh? So this is a Type 60 from Axiom Studios. This is built with OP blocks, I think. Yeah, let me double check. Let me double check. Yeah, okay. Type 60 built with OP block switches, with, yeah, 65 gram springs, I'm pretty sure. And then, alright. They are mounted on a carbon fiber half plate. And then these keycaps are from JMK9009 Korean Beige. Alright, cool. There it is. Late stream, yes. Late stream today, yes. I've just been busy today. And so yeah, like I've been up since like 7:30. And then just been doing a bunch of stuff, so just been busy. And I also have some other stuff to do next week, so I figured I should get this done. And I don't have any morning meetings tomorrow, so that's fortunate. So yeah, I figured a late night stream today would be actually totally fine. Alright, so let's get started right away. Don't really have anything new as far as mail or anything like that. I did announce recently on my Discord server that this weekend I'm gonna be at PAX East. So I'm gonna be at PAX East with Intel Gaming, Bento GG and Intel Gaming. They invited me to do a very, very short keyboard segment. It's only like an hour long, probably even less when it comes to like prep and like whatever. So it's gonna be really, really short. Like, you know, basically like building a board in like 50 minutes, pretty much. So we're gonna speed run that. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. As far as like having to show something like keyboard related at such a big event, it's pretty nice. But also at the same time, it is a short amount of time, so it's a bit of a shame that we don't get like a full feature, so to speak. But it'll be fun. I just got my first Topre today. This is definitely good timing. Oh, good. Maybe you'll learn how to mod your Topre stuff today too, while we're at it. Next, Ferrari. I don't know if I would rather Ferrari or a different brand. TBH. Do you guys like Ferraris a lot? I don't know. So for some reason, Ferrari is a brand that never spoke to me as much. I think their cars are sick, but I actually think the McLarens are cooler, for example. But, you know, Ferraris are pretty cool. But yeah, it's a brand that, I don't know, when I was young, nothing ever spoke to me. Porsche, maybe. Porsche, yeah. Yeah, they're classy, that's for sure. Yeah, they're nice. Okay, so I think the first thing to do, this is completely stock, so this is just a completely stock HHKB Classic. I also opened these up earlier, but I also have these blank keycaps for accents that we bought for this. These are the accent kit from HHKB. They're the blanks and the lettered ones. Obviously, we're gonna use the blanks at some point. And so I think the first thing we should do is test it out. So just pretty much just put the batteries in. Lambo. I do like Lambos, yeah. Although I don't know anything about more recent ones, to be honest. I haven't followed cars in a long time. I think when I was a kid, I was really into cars. And then I kind of just fell off. I kind of just lost interest in them for some reason. I think it might have been just the fact that I'm not driving them much. Like, I mean, I drove some like when I was in college, but then, and I did learn how to drive like pretty early on. Like, I think I learned how to drive in, like when I was like 14, 15 or so. But then never really ended up, I mean, like owning a car myself afterwards, because when I went to college, I just ended up, let's see, it says to type on 050762. Okay, cool. All right, so let's see. This is a test sent from my HHKB Pro Hybrid. Okay, pretty cool. Okay, so it works nicely. Bluetooth, pretty nice. So this is the one that has Bluetooth. Well, not my, but I mean, yeah, it's not mine, it's a client's. Yeah, so pretty nice, it works. That's good. So it has some dip switches here if you want to like change some of the layout stuff. For now, let's not worry too much about that, maybe later. And let's just make sure everything's working. So I'm just gonna open up like switch hitter and just try everything here. Alright, cool. Everything works. Alright, so the key thing here is that really nowadays HHKBs, like even brand new, they're super nice. So like honestly modding them is kind of more optional these days because like the stabs are really solid nowadays, you know, like there's no rattle really on these guys anymore, or nearly as much. Like there's a little bit, but they're so solid even stock because they do come with some pre-applied lubricant. But the alphas definitely do change quite a bit of sound once you start modding them. So yeah, that's the fun stuff though. So let's go ahead and turn this off. And I had to do the redo the stabs on one. Oh, I see. Yeah. Actually, wait. Actually, wait. Let's. I changed my mind. Let's actually plug it in, or just turn it on and do like a typing test. If you guys wanted to have like, so that people can have a reference of what it is like before and what it is like after. The difference is gonna be small, just FYI. Let's see. So, Windows is this first one. Oops. And then delete to backspace is the third one. And then off is fine. I think that's, wait, I think this one should be on too, because that's how I use my layouts. Okay, cool. I think that's good. Alright. What's up, Mike? How's it going? Okay, so that should do. Someone just removed my DNS-A record from my domain at work. Well, now the website is down. Like seriously, now I got to go to work 3 hours after I got off. Oh my god, that sucks. Wait. Oh, was it already on and connected? Oh, I guess it was. Okay, cool. Alright, cool. So let's do like a quick typing thingy. Alright, so let's try this out. Okay, so right now we have the HHKB here. This is completely stock, so I'm just gonna try it out stock, so that this records, and then we'll try it out modded. Okay, so here we go, just completely stock HKB. So pretty nice. Even stock, they're super nice, honestly. So that's like the stock thok, so to speak. Completely stock. It's really nice. Nowadays these just come pretty nice, like pre-built pretty much. So they're pretty much ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off now. And we can go ahead and mod this. So to be honest, I think we can just leave the mic there. You guys can tell me if like the sound is off or anything. I can always move the mic closer to my, like, facing me. So maybe I'll just do it. Whatever. Alright, so that works. Alright, so take these guys out. So I guess we should remove the keycaps, actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the keycaps, because to remove the sliders, you do need to remove the keycaps. Is there a big difference in sound between Type S and normal version? Absolutely, yes. Because the Type S has these rings, O-rings. Those are silencing rings, so they are noticeably quieter than completely stock without silencing rings. Yeah. So yeah, no, definitely a noticeable difference between non-silence and silence. I would say, aside from lube, it's the second thing that you would do to make a big difference on your Topre boards, is to do silencing. I mean, there's obviously like changing domes, which is a bit more advanced, so to speak. It changes the feeling too, because, you know, there's different resistances for that. So yeah, overall though, I would say lubing and silencing are the two things that probably do the most, as far as the most common modifications that people do on Topre. Yeah, it sort of depends on the sliders. Yeah, it does silence the upstroke. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about like just stock sliders in general. Like, even for regular sliders versus Type S sliders. So Type S sliders do make up for the difference in travel, because the so like the stock, you know, like the stock sliders have a certain amount of travel for bottom out, right? And so when you add the silencing ring, you basically add a little bit of thickness to that. So basically you reduce the amount of travel you have. And so ultimately what the people at HKB did was they designed a slider that was slightly lower. So basically you account for that difference, so you don't lose any of the travel. It's such a small difference. Like, it's like a point, it's like, how much was it? Like 0.3 point, I don't know, it's like a fraction of a millimeter. It's not a huge difference. I mean, it is noticeable if you are, you know, carefully just trying to feel for the difference. But personally, I've done silencing rings on regular Topre sliders, and it hasn't bothered me too much. But yeah, it does quiet down the upstroke a decent bit. I just realized it's still on. So under the space bar, there's also this little spring here that increases the resistance by just a little bit. So okay, so we do that. Maybe you can just put the caps in a bag or something, so we don't lose them for now. Without the silencing rings, would you say the volume is borderline noisy, obnoxious? No, but I do think, for example, stock HHKB Pro 2s or Pro 1s, like before the current generation of Topre HKBs, they were pretty obnoxious in the sense that the rattle was really obnoxious. It had this like plasticky kind of rattle sound, right? Like when things are like you know, like kind of like when for MX switches, when you have like stock switches, it sounds very like very loud because it's rattly. Yeah, so that's what's obnoxious about them. I would say that this generation, the current generation of Topre, where like these come pretty nice already out of the box, they're much less obnoxious than they used to be, so to speak. But yeah, I would say that's the only thing. Alright, so this is literally held by 3 screws. So there's one at each corner and then one under the, basically the warranty seal, which there's no way, I don't think there's a very easy way of removing it without voiding it. I mean, that you can do the whole like, oh yeah, heat it up and all that, but honestly, it's too easy to know whether you opened it or not. So you're automatically gonna void that like warranty as soon as you open it up. So, and it's not like it's hard to tell. You take it apart once and they know. It's so easy. All right, so I'm just gonna grab some tweezers and I'm just gonna open up from here. Can't like. Alright, so under the metallic sticker is a screw over there. So just gently remove it. Why do you keep saying so to speak? No point getting newest if I already have a Pro 2 though, right? There are some small like aesthetic differences. Like I think the newer ones are slightly rounder at the corners. And the side profile is very slightly different. But yeah, generally speaking, if you already have a Pro 2, I don't think, or a Pro 1, you don't really need another HKB. Generally speaking, you won't need it. Like you pretty much have. One thing that's nice about the new generation is the fact that they're USB-C compatible. The previous ones are all USB mini, right? So there's that too, if that's a concern. Okay, so do that. Those warranty stickers are unenforceable and technically illegal in the US, is that right? Huh, that's funny. Didn't know that. Okay, so the case should just open right up. Okay, and then now, so there is this ribbon cable. I like to remove it from this end rather than the bottom end. So I'll just go ahead and unclip it. You just unclip it and then just gently pull. It's off. Band-aid for grip? No. I have a decently ugly injury, so I didn't want to show it. I was opening up some packaging today, and like, you know, like just like a box. I was opening some packaging today, and the box literally went into like the underside of the thumb, like the skin and the nail, like this part. Not like under the nail, but like, you know, like the top part of the nail, but between the skin and the nail. And it started bleeding quite a bit. So yeah, that hurt. It hurt a bit. It was like the worst version of a paper cut. So yeah, it sucked. Just bad timing. Yeah, the cuticle. Thank you. How hard was it to mod your first HKB? No, not very hard. Pretty easy. I just literally just looked up a guide and just followed it to the T, and it was pretty easy. It's modding HKB is actually like modding Topre in general is actually easier than MX, I would assume. It's tedious. It's more tedious, but it's not more difficult. You just imprinted that image onto my head. Yeah, I'm sorry. It was unpleasant to me too, you know. Fitting to have the sash tray out then? Yeah. Teja looking at the elbow nerve thing on stream by accident was heinous. I don't know what the elbow nerve thing was, but I'm assuming it has to do with like when you hit your elbow and it like tickles, kind of like it hurts a lot, I guess, rather. Have you tried an 8XV 3.0? No, I have not tried an 8XV 3.0 Matrix Lab board, unfortunately. I don't mind USB Mini either. When swap the domes from my 2011 Pro 2 into my heavy grill. Yeah, older domes also kind of like, if they've been relatively intact, they get kind of stiffer, and so they feel more they feel like slightly snappier than newer domes. But I would say that's not like a generally, like, it's generalizable to some degree, but at the same time it isn't. So I prefer to say that it doesn't necessarily mean it's like just because the HKB itself is old, the domes are better. Because I've bought a Pro 1. No, I bought several Pro 1s that ended up having pretty bad domes because they were either squished in storage or I don't know what the heck they were exposed to, and they were very bad. They're either too soft or just uneven, inconsistent. What's the weight on the stock dome? 45 gram actuation, which ends up being around like 60-65 gram bottom out. More or less. So for me, it's the perfect weight. It's the weight that doesn't bother me ultimately. Love the desk mat. Where's that from? I got it from CV Planet. CV Planet ran a small buy some time ago, and then I believe someone privately ran a second batch through CV Planet as well. And then there were some extras available through CV Planet as well. So that's how you would get it. I don't know if she still has any, but yeah. Okay, so now right now the PCB and the top piece are pretty nicely and tightly together, right? So that's cool and all, but they do have to come off. And so this part is the tricky part, is the part where you don't want to mess up. Basically, you just want to very carefully lift the top piece off from the rest, because the dome sometimes may get stuck to the sliders, and that's not what you would want. So right now this is perfect. The domes have not come off, they're in the rightful place, they're perfect, all good. And now you want to carefully move this away from your workspace, because you just don't want to mess with it until the end when you have to put it back together. So just gonna put that away for the time being. And now this is where all the work happens, is the top piece, the integrated plate. So, alright. So let's get started. The first step, I would say, is gonna be, let us remove all of the sliders. So I'm just gonna use like this, just like a spudger. I'm just gonna push them through.
Take my money, you handsome guy.
Oh, hello, Mr. Frank. New dad, if you didn't know. Mr. Frank is a new dad. So congratulate Mr. Frank and his wife, his family, for such a joyous occasion. Imagine being a dad. Says the dad. Is modding a Topre hard? No, it's not. It's very simple. It's tedious, but it's very simple. It's actually simpler than MX. All you do, all the modding that happens in Topre, at least for like lubing, happens on the housing and like the stabs, right? And then the more complicated stuff is like when you do dome swaps and stuff like that, where you just have to mess with the, take off all the pieces from the dome and put all the new ones, and then carefully align everything. That's the annoying part. But no, in and of itself, it's very simple. Hate cleaning off those tiny plastic bits from the sliders. Yeah, they're kind of annoying, right? So because they're like made to exactly fit these integrated plates, when you pop them off, when you pop these sliders off, these little two plastic bits come off. Basically, it's just like plastic that flies off because you apply force to remove the slider. There's no real easy way to like take them all out carefully. It will take forever, and also pretty much not really worth it because it's not like it affects the usage utility. Okay, there we go. Alright, so there it is. That's the housing. I'm gonna mess with the stabs later. So for now, we can just put the sliders aside, and all the work is gonna happen on here. I'm gonna bring my piece of foam here, my usual piece of foam, to sort of just keep things on a separate surface. Okay, so I'm glad I like the stock 30 gram. Yes, liking things in Topre as they are is a good thing. If you like 45 grams, stick to it. It's the ideal situation there. I like the heavier domes personally. I used to like heavier domes until I didn't. It just tired me out after like a whole day of working with them, like dailying. Like I took my Topre 55 gram real force to work one time, and after a week I was just like, this ain't it. This ain't it. Alright, so have some 3204 here, and okay. Alright, we're good to go. So just gonna grab a, so I'm gonna use these micro applicators. I like these because they apply the lube more evenly than brushes. Brushes kind of like leave like a bigger blob at the end, especially when you like do a stroke like that. So I do like using these applicators because they're small. They pretty much exactly like fit the width of the slider here, and then they're easy to work with. So what happens if you over lube the rail? Then the slider's gonna feel sluggish, and that's not good. The key's gonna feel sluggish because it's this slider that goes up and down, right? It's gonna feel very sluggish when you try to use it. Yeah, so not very pleasant. Okay. So I mean, ideally you just wipe it off and then try again. You know, you can grab like a dry, like, you know, like cotton swab, or like, you know, like an applicator like this, and then just remove some of the lube that's on there first, and then try again. Alright, so we're gonna start with the alphas, or I mean, I guess it includes some modifiers, but we're gonna just start with one side. And you basically just grab the housing and just do that. Like I just do like 2 passes and use a very minimal amount. Like you can see how much it leaves, like how much lube it leaves on the slider. So I just pretty much do it just so that it's one even coat on the surface, and that's more than enough. Is that why you're using 3204 instead of 205? Yes, that's correct. Because 205 is a little bit too viscous for the task. It feels a bit too sluggish to do it with 205. Like, 205 works fine, by the way. It's not that much far off, but because it is a very small amount of lube you're using when it comes to like the viscosity of it, like it'll make a big difference when you apply to these sliders. So yeah, I prefer using 3204 on everything but the stabilizer wires, basically, is my preference. Yeah. Me applying 205 on my HKB and BDZ on my stab, that's fine. People do it and it works fine. I don't like it personally just because it's just too thick for both. And I do know that if I use 205 that it can run a bit, and like you do have to like open it up again to reapply at some point in the future, right? Like that's normal, I know that. But I don't mind it, so I prefer it to BDZ. I just find BDZ to be just too viscous for my own preference. But it works also pretty well. Lots of very successful stories of people using it. So, are you gonna play D4 this weekend? No, probably. I don't remember the last time I had time to play like a lot of games. As it is, I don't feel like I have enough hours in a day to sleep well, do stuff, do all the shit I want to do, and then go to bed. So no. Looks like 7U bottom row Topre real force are expensive. Yes. So 86U real force boards are basically like out of print, so that's why they're expensive. Basically, it's a dwindling, ever dwindling supply. However, nowadays there are custom aftermarket Topre PCBs as well as plates, so you can get those purchased and made. I believe Sipulot is the only person who's currently been doing the electrocapacitive PCBs, the custom ones so far. There have been some runs for like HHKB replacements, for some real force replacements, and so on. Probably a good idea to check out Sipulot's like Topre server, or maybe in the Conical Springs server, or whatever. It's the Topre relating server. They probably have more info on that. But yes, 7U Topre is rarer and therefore more expensive to get, or just harder to find. Like, it's not something you'll find on a store and then you can just buy. Hey Naktam, hello, how's it going? I saw your message earlier. Maybe I'll catch you this weekend. Are you attending the event, or is it because you're local? Or is it for work? Waiting to justify a SIP PCB to make it 86U? Yeah, I mean, I think eventually they will be a lot more accessible, you know? We are still like, I would say we are still in the early phases of adopting custom Topre. However, there are newer options coming up very quickly. Like, we are seeing those EC capable PCBs now, and for like MX, usually what would be MX only kits. So it's pretty nice. I mean, like, I think Ankit ran that Raita, which is the macro pad that he had with EC PCB as well, which is nice. So yeah, there's been a good few examples now. I think the Thika also was gonna have the EC kits, the Matrix ones, right? And then I think the Dolphin 60 might have one. Just a bunch of stuff. Are people having issues finding 86U caps? Oh yes. So keycaps. Yeah, keycaps are always gonna be a problem. They're hard to find. That would be the big thing though. Like you could get all your aftermarket supplies like domes, springs, whatever. You know, you could get all the aftermarket stuff you want, but keycaps are a pain in the butt in Topre because all the stock stuff is like 6U, right? Like I mean, all the old R1 or like HKB stuff is 6U. The new real force is 6.25U, not even 7U. And then 7U is basically like just difficult to find because like there's a lot of old real forces that are like JIS layout, the Japanese International Standard layout. And then ANSI stuff is just harder to find. MX sliders are a solution. Some people just prefer Topre sliders. Like myself, I prefer Topre on Topre, like OEM Topre sliders for Topre, because one of my favorite parts about Topre is to not use MX keycaps. I like OEM PBT Topre keycaps. That's like those are my favorite keycaps on Topre. Like MX keycaps just pale in comparison, both in sound and in feel, when you switch to sliders. And so for me personally, I just really like how just standard OEM real force or, you know, HKB brand made keycaps are like. Just both the texture and the sound and the feel, they just work. And it feels so nice to put them on. That snap is so nice. Super pleasant. Yes, MX keycaps are indeed too thick for Topre. Yes. The shape of Topre keycaps is a bit different. Like it's close to cherry profile, but it's not the same. Not identical. There's that taper at the bottom that's vertical instead of like angled. But yeah, I'm a big fan of stock Topre PBT. I mean, I honestly hope there were more options. Like, I do wish, like, you know, we've seen KBD fans do like high pro. We've seen like other people do high pro, like resin made. We've seen also like we also seen KBD fans do like cylindrical like stuff. I think like was it Domiki? Domiki also does like electrocapacitive stuff, and Niz, right? But the problem is they still don't. It's like it's kind of like the situation with like OG Cherry, where like we are spoiled with GMK in the sense that GMK is basically OG Cherry ABS but modern, in a modern company. But that's because it was like part of the original equipment. And then for Topre, we don't have that. We don't have anybody doing actual Topre keycaps, like replicas, exact replicas. So yeah. Yeah, you can get. Yeah, I know you can get Topre space bars. I have a whole bag of those Topre space bars and stuff, like the PBT ones, because a lot of the HKB ones are ABS, so they do yellow over time. You'll notice. Oh yeah, Leopold caps are also pretty nice. Like Leopold also does nice stuff. I mean, they also are like an OEM Topre manufacturer, so yeah. Have you decided a place for your move in May? Yeah. Oh well, so I'm moving temporarily somewhere else, and then so I'm moving in. I'm moving in with my girlfriend in May. So the problem is it's like a small apartment. It's like a studio, so it's pretty small space. So I'll probably be storing like the vast majority of my stuff, and then we're gonna be looking again in like August, which is not a great time for the market here. August is like right after the peak, which is the summer, so it's gonna suck looking for housing, but that's how it goes. Oh, hey. Jack Piketty, hello. How's it going? How you doing, Jack? Does that mean less consistent streams during the summer? Yeah. Very likely that I'll take a break in May to pack and move. And then in the summer, I think I should be able to come back in the summer, but it will be with probably a worse setup in the sense that we just don't have that much space. So actually, I still need to figure that out. I actually don't know how I'm gonna stream after May. Cause, yeah. We'll see. I have to. That's logistics to figure out in the next few months. I'm not in a rush to figure it out in the sense that I am basically not gonna commit to anything in that time. Even if it's a missed opportunity, it's fine. Just gonna focus on the things that are, you know, that I have to do. So. If you move to a place that has FiOS, you'll break the spectrum moment meta? Yeah. So funnily enough, there is FiOS where I would move. So yes, I would break that. And it actually, I think like the speeds are pretty good. It's like 300 up and down or something like that, which is pretty decent. I mean, better than here where I get like inconsistent 250 to up and like maybe like 20 down. I mean like maybe like 300 or like 250 down and like 200 like 20 up, but it's like very inconsistent. So it's annoying. That said, it's been a lot better than a lot better recently. I think it's been nicer. It's been stable relatively. What does that mean? Yes, fiber. It means fiber internet service. Yes, fiber-based internet service is a service provided by Verizon. In Verizon Fios. I mean, there's also exists like the Google Fi stuff. I think, right? But that's not available in this area. So any fiber providers in New York City are should be Verizon Fios. Yeah. DNS record hasn't been fixed yet. Fun times. Oh my gosh. It's annoying. Alright, so I'm starting to notice that the little applicators like the, you know, like the fluffy part of the applicator, like the cotton swab part of the applicator is sort of like breaking up a little bit. So this is the time when you swap for a new one. So maybe like 2 are enough usually for a whole HKB. I mean, technically you can keep going, but I like to change it so that I'm always using like a consistent little swab to apply with. I don't know if my little town has fiber optic internet. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not everywhere in the States. But it's funny, like, a lot of the really amazing, like, fiber services are also offered in a lot of smaller towns or, like, outskirts of, like, smaller cities because infrastructure is much easier to build in those places than in big cities where you have to, like, dismantle a bunch of existing infrastructure and then build new. So that's why like New York City has really bad infrastructure in the sense that like to repair anything, like you need to dismantle a lot of old stuff, and that's very expensive to do. Which is also the reason why the subway system is the way it is, and etc. Fios is also Irish for knowledge. Verizon branding? Oh, interesting. Upgrade to 900 up and down this year has been mega beast. That's crazy. 900. Holy moly. I've never experienced internet that fast in my life. I think the most I've experienced in my life ever is 500 or so. And even then, I personally can't tell the difference in the sense that if it takes like, you know, 10-20 minutes for me to download a movie or whatever, you know, whatever it is, right? Then honestly, I wouldn't notice. There's not many applications of things where I need extravagant speeds to feel like I'm enjoying the quality of life of that change. There really isn't much. Steam downloads are like at 100 Mbps to my NVMe drive. Yeah, that feels nice, right? Like you look at it and you're like, damn, it's fast. Like it's just filling up the bar super quickly, right? Like that shit's great. But yeah, it's such a niche thing. It's like, that's once in a blue moon, pretty much. It's, yeah, rarely applicable. Lube, yep. Wish I could download something and be in the Discord voice call at the same time. Yeah, I get that. I've experienced slow or very unreliable internet a lot, so I know what you mean. I mean, I didn't have internet for a very long time in my life as well. Or it was just very slow, like dial-up I had it for a long time, and then even like when we had cable it was extremely slow for a long time. Yeah, remember those days when it would take quite a long time to download a single song? And the songs were like I don't know, like the bitrate was super low too on them. Maybe like 4 megabytes per song, and you would be downloading like 4 kilobytes per second or so. Napster days, yeah, back in those days. Yeah, the old P2P stuff. Internet Explorer was so slow? Oh god. Yeah. Oh, that's true. When you had to sit and wait until the page loaded because it had a lot of images on it. And the stupid web people who like would put a bunch of like flash animations and shit, and it's like, oh, bro. And they also like would break all the time anyway, like Adobe Flash stuff. What a mess. That said, when they phased out Adobe Flash, that was also disastrous. What happened to all the mini games, man? And all the cool little like vignettes and stuff. Good times. LimeWire. Only to get a mislabeled song. Oh no. Yeah. Or if you're trying to download a movie and obviously you don't get the right kind of movie, and you're like, oh no. Mini clip? What is this, boomer reminiscing? Yeah, I know. Mini clip, congregate, a lot of those like flash-based game websites and stuff. Good times. I'm too young. I don't know what you're talking about. This is such a lie. Addicting games. Yeah. A lot of stuff like that. Oh man, that's a throwback. That's a massive throwback. Pirate Bay pulling albums on RAR. Oh yeah. Oh boy. Anyway, yeah, good old days. Definitely a different time in the internet, I feel. I remember when like torrents first came about too, I was like, whoa. So you're telling me I can download this like small ass file and then it'll like link me to the right one? Whoa. And people contribute to it? Whoa. I can do my part? Whoa. My name is literally named after AOL bot. Oh, Smarter Child 2000. Oh boy. Them Y2K vibes. Hey, Clippy here. Do you need help with something? No. The worst. Clippy. What a living nightmare, man. Clippy is literally the epitome of what we don't want AI to become. If ChatGPT basically becomes Clippy, like in the sense that it's like, oh, how can I help you? And then it's like it never goes away. And it does annoying ass animations. Yeah, that's gonna be disastrous, guys. It's gonna be the day we regret everything about AI. It is like the OG AI. Yo, Clippy was trying his best. Let him cook. Clippy will come back as a T-1000. Yeah. Yup. The new Terminator for real. Gonna take his revenge against all of us who hated him. Wouldn't be surprised if they made a Clippy horror movie. Yeah, kind of like one of those social media based horror / thriller movies. Those are interesting too. Alright, so that's done. So I think we can just go ahead and put these back first. These sliders. So I just gotta make sure that you already have the O-ring on them. So sometimes the O-rings do come off, so just gotta make sure you have them. I want to buy VHS tapes. Oh boy. VHS. I haven't had a VHS player in so long. ChatGPT just doesn't know when it's wrong. Yeah, that's true. Well, you have to like tell it it's wrong, right? And then it's like, oh, okay, I'll try my best next time. Not social media based, Clippy horror movie based on the rubber premise. Oh boy. VHS tapes were so wild to me as a kid. I think I broke a few too. I mean, I think a lot of kids broke VHS tapes, yes. Yeah, they were fragile for sure, yeah. For the silencing rings, those silicone, I think so. Definitely not foam, so I do think they're probably silicone. White ones? Oh no, these are black. So maybe not silicone. I mean, it's like rubber, right? Or something like that. Have you seen Keep Mats? Oh, Keep Mats. Keep Mats Thok rings? No, I haven't. I don't even know. I don't follow. So no, I wouldn't know. Stuck my finger in the VHS tapes and used my finger to smash to rewind. Oh my god. Probably way too mere for my taste, but inch arrestin'. I see. Got pretty good at returning some videotapes. Yo. Blockbuster. Rentals. Going to the videotape rental where there's also a pool table. Oh, hey Roro, what's up? Do you guys like the employee who hates the job but still has to do it? Oh wow, do I seem that unhappy to you? Oh, it says no HKB, no life is the shirt, in case you didn't know. No. My Blockbuster did not have a pool table. I'm talking about more like the mom and pop stores that had videotape rentals and pool tables. And there's a bunch of like people like just, you know, mostly like older people just like smoking and playing pool and then like watching videos and stuff like that. Watching movies and shit. That's American Psycho reference? Yeah. Remember having to rewind? I was mind blown when those rewinders, like the machines that like would rewind tape for you, came out. And I was like, whoa. You can just like put it in here and they'll just rewind it for you, and you don't have to put it in the actual player. Obviously this was because I was a kid, so I was like, oh, whoa, amazing, so cool. Hey AK, hello, how's it going? They definitely seem bougie, yeah. I mean, they definitely were a luxury to have. You know, like if you had one, like you definitely had it because it's pretty extra. It's handy. Floppy drives? You mean floppy disks? Or diskettes? 3.5s. You can call it many names. Windows 98, actual good McDonald's, Neo sunglasses, a Polaroid, Sony Walkmans, Game Boy, and Tamagotchi. Classics. I remember rewinding tapes by hand. Yeah, I've done that too. Game Boy, my beloved Pikmin was a shit. Wait. Pikmin? Game Boy? I thought, didn't Pikmin come out like when the GameCube came out or something? You mean Pokemon? Pikmin was Wii? I think it was GameCube. I think. You can correct me, but I'm pretty sure it was GameCube because I remember the GameCube era very well. Has anyone played GoldenEye? Oh, of course. I played a lot of GoldenEye 007. I love that game. I like picking Boris to stand out, but if you want to annoy someone, you can pick Oddjob. Of course, but you had to unlock him first, which is a little harder. Yeah, GoldenEye was fun. It was fun playing on License to Kill, and then playing with like grenade launchers or shit like that. So like one-hit kills with like a fuck ton of bombs. Yeah, pretty sure the first Pikmin was GameCube. Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. I do remember my friend playing a lot of it. Like before GameCube, there are other things I was more excited about when the 64 was still out, like I don't know, Banjo-Kazooie and stuff, you know? Unreal Tournament, wow. I don't know why, where's that silencing ring for that one? I don't see it here. Did I, maybe I brushed it off somewhere? I'm gonna double check. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Started Valley music playing yet? Yeah, I do have music, game music stuff playing. Yeah, GoldenEye was 64. N64, yes. Okay, so it's gonna be noticeable after you lube your sliders that these don't like quite spring down and up as quickly because of the lube, obviously. So that's like a quick difference that you'll see right away. Obviously, if they're like really sluggish, that's even more noticeable. But anyway, for me, I lube relatively lightly, so they're not as sluggish. So anyway, and then the next thing I'm just gonna do is remove the stabs and loop those individually. So there's only 3 of them. We can first start with we'll first start with these guys here, the enter key and the left shift. How's your bike been? I haven't ridden it much, EPP, because I don't like riding in the cold, so I've just been keeping it not rusting indoors, but I don't like riding in the cold, so I haven't really gone out with it. My cutoff is I have to wear gloves. Yeah, for me that's a lot of the time. It gets really windy. I live close to the river, so it gets very windy out here. I have hit another roadblock with my PCB. Are you making a PCB, Drew? Or what was it? Yeah? Oh, cool. Have fun. Of course you would hit a roadblock, though. Based on your preferences. So like 50 and sunny is the least I'll do? Yeah, that sounds about right. I think colder than that is just too cold. I mean, especially like if you're going at a certain speed, it's just, yeah, it's just suffering. It's just pain and suffering. So yeah, I also wouldn't do any colder than that, I think. This guy ain't sleeping? Yeah, I'm not sleeping yet. Decided I would do this on a late night today. How's it going, Justin? How are you doing? How's Alex's stream? I think he streamed the derivative recently, right? Like just yesterday or something like that. I think I saw a ping, or I think my phone went off with the Twitch notification. Anyway, so for the stabs, I tend to be a little bit more generous on the lube because I figure it doesn't hurt. It honestly doesn't really get sluggish when the lube is on the wire. Unless you obviously like absolutely drown it, which you probably shouldn't do anyway, but pretty much just covering your bases with lubing the 2 ends of the wire up to the L bend is probably more than enough. Kind of late for you, isn't it, Diego? Yes, it is just past midnight for me. But that said, my sleep schedule isn't any better, so it's fine. And I also do not have morning meetings, so I figured it would be fine. If I had morning meetings, then I would absolutely not be awake streaming right now. But yeah, I don't have that responsibility tomorrow specifically, so I figured that it's okay. My H87A seems to have a decoupling cap and 2 resistors on ground and VCC and a decoupling cap and resistor after the fuse, and I have no fucking clue why. Why don't you ask someone? Like literally any electrical engineer in the hobby. I have, so now I wait. Oh, okay, cool. Pretty decent. Hope you're having a good late night stream. Yeah, it's good. It's pretty chill. Today's a pretty chill one. Okay. Oops. Okay, there we go. Just snap it into the case. And we're gonna do the same with the other one. And I just like to wipe off the old lube. Just don't like mixing substances there, so and then just start with the housing first. I was surprised when you messaged me. Yeah. It's definitely not typical that I stream this late these days. I definitely have changed my schedule a little bit, so I try not to stream too late at night if I can. So yeah. And also I haven't been streaming on the weekends. Not sure if you guys have noticed, but I don't stream on the weekends nearly as much. Mostly because it's my time to hang out with people. So I kind of like want to leave the people time aside, you know? So during the week is just kind of difficult, so to make appointments and hang out and stuff. So I've instead swapped it. Love a morning stream, but it can totally dictate my day. Oh yeah, I mean I would love to do things like in the day, in the morning, but yeah, I also kind of feel like I should do the things I need to do during the day so that I can reward myself to do things like streams and other, like, you know, more quote-unquote fun things at night. I do find it fun to like stream and to build stuff, so it is more of a reward than like just doing work stuff, you know? Yeah, so I do prefer to keep that to doing that in the evening when I'm like done with the work part. So sometimes I get nothing done in the last couple of hours of work because of the excitement. Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. If you're excited to do something, I mean, that happens to me all the time too. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie. I do get excited about building this stuff, and I just don't really do much work during the day because I'm messing around, not obviously thinking about work. So yeah. Okay. I get nothing done in the last couple of hours of work for no reason at all. I mean, yes, that too. Yes, that too. Thanks for hanging out and letting some nostalgia roll through chat. I'm headed to bed. Oh, have a good one, the Octonite. Thanks so much for stopping by. and I hope you have a great night and a good day tomorrow. Alright, so that's the second stab here. Let's move on to the spacebar, the most important part probably. So for this, I like to grab my spudger, which I just had here and I just don't know where I just put it. Well, I have another one here, so it doesn't matter. Alright, so these guys are held by clips, so I'm just gonna push it off. A little bit harder with plastic. I'm just gonna do it in the middle. You can also do a screwdriver if you want, but all you have to do is just push it, and it just comes off on one side. Do it on the other, like that, and then push it on this side. Unclip it. Push it on that side. Unclip it, and it just comes right off. So that came right off. I don't know where this slider came off from. Oh, here. Alright, so that unclips our... What's your shirt say? No HKB, no life. It's a shirt from the HKB store, pretty sure. Alright, so you can just unclip the stab wire. It's like bent in a U kind of shape. So you can just unclip it like that. Like if you want to remember which side was which, you can orient them like that too. So it was like this. Same thing though. I like to wipe off the old lube from the wire. $50 gifted subs to include it without washing in my package. Actually though, I'll do it. 50 gifted subs for a t-shirt? NBD, I can just buy a new one. Basically, I end up with, let's see, let's talk about it. 50 subs is $2.50. Let's say $2 per sub because it's $2.50, and then you get ripped off by Amazon, and you have to pay taxes on. You know, you get ripped off by the IRS, so you have to pay tax on it. So you end up with $2 instead of $2.50, right? So it's $100. So for $100, I can get a shirt. Yeah. So I get to keep. I mean, let's say the shirt's like $40, more on the expensive side of a shirt. And you get a shirt for $50, then I get to keep the other $50, so I can get 2 shirts now. And maybe that's how it works. Maybe you get 2 shirts, and then you sell the next one, and then you do it all over again. Just kidding. Perpetual energy making machine, or money making machine. JK. But I'll do it. I respect the hustle, yeah. The hustle whose ROI dies instantly. So actually, I do think I wanna loop just a little bit of the housing too. Just the parts where you think that it makes contact. It's okay. But the wire should take care of most things. But it's just a very, very light application. Pretty much anywhere where you think there's going to be a little bit of friction, you can just apply a little bit of lube, but it should be no thicker than a thin coat. Double it and give it to the next person. Oh man. It gets more expensive? Damn. Crazy. Okay. So pretty thickly lubed wire, or at least generously lubed wire. And we can just clip it back on carefully. Boom. That's one. Start with the other housing if you want. Just lube the part where you think it's gonna make a little bit of contact. Just not much. Again, just barely enough to have a consistent layer. You can like move it around a little bit and see where it's making contact and stuff. Do some application there, do some application there. Then, you know, get the slider back down. Just make sure everything's good to go. And pretty much anywhere where you think it would make contact with stuff. Just want things to glide along. Do you go any leaks on the Intel stream? It's gonna be a keyboard build. It's not my keyboard, so I'm not bringing a keyboard myself or anything. It's gonna be only an hour long, so it's very short. And so yeah, no, it won't be crazy, so to speak. Nothing. I would say you wouldn't expect anything like the Honda stream, in the sense that like it's a very short amount of time for all this to happen. They're gonna make him handwrite an ergodox in an hour? Jesus. No, it's probably gonna be a board that you know what the board is, and then I'm gonna be putting it together. I actually don't know whether it's hot solder or hot swap or whatever. That's actually something that I'm just gonna go get there and they'll have everything ready, I guess. And then yeah, but I'm just gonna be attending really and talking. But I think the rest of it is kind of all on the organizing crew, so nothing that I actually know too many details about. But it's gonna be a custom keyword that you know, very likely. Another Kiko stream SMH. Oh boy. Will it be though? Would you want to make a bet? Do you want to bet on it? Bet 50 subs that it's another key cult stream. My checking and savings are empty. I bet you a doll hair. Kiko song's down now. It's gonna be a mode. Oh boy. I'm pretty excited about it though. I've never been to a gaming event like that, so I'm very excited to check it out. And I'll get to meet cool people that I've never met, but that I've heard about. So that's pretty fun. All right, there we go. Clip on the wire, and it's all done. So we are now gonna just put this back here. It's like a south-facing stab. So just press it down like that. I do like lubing a little bit of the wire just right here where there is the ABS case and the wire here, just because it's a very small portion here, but maybe it makes some clicking sound if it hits. So just like there, pretty much anywhere where you think there's gonna hit, it's gonna touch, it's gonna make motion and have friction on it. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all the lubing that's done. So hopefully this is good. Unfortunately, there's no easy way to test it until you put it back together. So yeah, here comes we'll see how it goes. Are there other people on the panel stream with you? Not that I know. I think it's just me. I mean, there's probably maybe a host, but I actually do not know of anything else that I think is like if anybody else is going to be with me. But maybe there will be a host of some sort. So at the moment though, I'm not aware of it. So you just have to carefully now put the... So as you can see, the domes pop up, and then you want to hold the PCB from underneath. Make sure everything's lined up nicely. You can take a look by looking at the dome sheet being compressed by the case. You carefully grab it from the underside and you flip it over. You don't let go. You make sure the screw holes are lined up. You grab a couple of screws and you first want to put a few screws together so that you can keep the PCB and the assembly all together. Oh my god, this band-aid's actually cursing me because it's getting frayed. So it's like not giving me the dexterity I need, but there we go. There's a screw. How would you describe the Topre feel? I've been interested, hesitant to take the dive. If you've tried like modern rubber dome based keyboards, it's pretty much a rubber dome based keyboard. But one thing that's nice about Topre, I would say, is that it does have a pretty consistent up and down feel. And then I would say, like, in the case of the HKB, what's unique is that the cases are, the case itself is made out of plastic, and the plate upon which you are, pushing down the keys on is also made out of plastic. It's an integrated plate, and so it has a pretty unique kind of sound to it. In the case of the Real Force or the Leopold, which have steel plates, they do have a much stiffer kind of bottom out feel, but they still do retain that like rubber dome based tactility. So it's tactility right at the top that collapses after you get past the resistance, the initial resistance for the dome. So okay, good night, Krusty. Good night, good night. Alright, cool. So once you get a few screws, it's pretty much good to go. So we just want to put the rest. So one, I would say maybe you want to get a few more in, but I think there's a good point to kind of like flip it over and just make sure that the keys return properly. So I just like to run them like that, or maybe if they are not properly lined up, they'll make this weird crunchy kind of sound from the spring underneath the domes. Sounds pretty good. It doesn't look like anything's binding or feeling off, so that's already a good sign. It means I don't need to go all the way back to redo that alignment process. And this is exactly why you don't need to lube the PCB, because if you do it properly the first time, you will never have to undo the dome sheet from the PCB and have to redo all that up. So unfortunately, when you buy like a used Topre board, it is possible that you might it is possible that those domes are already off from the PCB, so very likely that they get misaligned as soon as you open it up. Oh, 765, good night. Do you want to fix it until business hours tomorrow? Oh, okay. Have a good night. All right. I think I've been burning this candle for a while. I have this candle on right now. Okay, cool. Alright, nice. Okay, so that's pretty much all set. So now we're gonna put it all back together. So what's nice about Topre, obviously you don't have to solder a single thing. So no hot elements to touch. Okay, so this part you just insert the ribbon cable. Oops. And then flip over the little locking flap. And that's it. Now we can just flip it over and then put it all back together. Clips at the bottom go first. Clips at the top. Make sure everything's nice and tight. Flip it over and then put our screws in for all of them. Here, one corner. So make sure everything's nice and compressed all the way down. Oh shit! Who's this? Mr. GZ Prime. It's been a long time. Or at least it's been a little while. How are you, dude? I hope you've been doing well. I know you've probably been busy and stuff, but I hope life's been treating you well, buddy. Good to see you. And thanks for the sub, of course. Alright, so that's that. And just gonna move the sticker aside here and put the screw through. Doing well? That's good. That's great to hear. Alright, so that's that. You can just close that. And then we can now start putting some keycaps on. Well, actually, before that, let's test it. So I like to just, we can just put the cable, we can just put the battery back in. You can also plug it in using a USB-C cable if you want. That's fine too. But you can also just test it like this. Turn it on. Oh, I think when you put the batteries, it automatically turns on. So it should be good. Switch hitter. Test everything up here. Alright, nice. So everything's good. So now let's go ahead and put the keycaps on. Maybe a little bit of the remainder on my brush to just put on the little spring here so it doesn't do that weird squeaky sound when it touches the plastic. Okay. Then just place it on top here. Let's grab our keycaps. Nice. Okay, very good. Okay, let's put the rest. Let's see. Can we use those colored johns? Yeah, we can. So we can do this here. Maybe we can do the escape on the other side. I don't know. I mean, or the colored one. Or maybe here's fine, actually. That nice Topre snap. Oh, Cinda, hello. How's it going? Long time no see, actually. How are you? They're gonna have to get used to blings. It's not too hard. They look so good. Yeah, they look the best in my opinion on Topre especially. They just look really nice, especially on HKBs. Just looks so clean, you know? So yeah, I would suggest, yeah, getting used to the blings is nice. It is the move. Alright, well, would it be a stream of mine if we didn't have an artisan? So we get to pick one artisan since we are using these other colored ones. So I did prep some Topre keycaps if you want to pick one. These are all Topre compatible. Never mind, no clack. Why? Because it's drunken? There's a clack there. But it is a different color. Yeah, these are all Topre compatible. You wanna do the drunken though? You can do that. It's nice though. You can switch it up actually. You can put it on the escape as well actually instead. I don't know. Just thinking out loud here. I guess it doesn't matter. It's up to you. It is up to you. Yeah, I don't think it's that haram. I think it's fine. All right. Better not lose these guys. So just gonna put it aside for a sec. Just organize all my stuff here. It's a blank. It's not a tilde. Yeah, that's true. It is not a. It's not like a mod tilde. So it's okay. That is true, actually. That's a good point. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so GZ. Alright, so let's see. Does this work still on the side? Yeah, alright, cool. Oops. It's a little bit too close, I think. That looks good. Looks pretty good, I think. like that, maybe. There we go. Look at that. How clean. Alright, shall we give this a try now? Now that we have this built up. So let's go back to the typing thing. Alright. Let's turn the mic over. Alright, cool. Alright, are we good? Praying on the home field, so big words per minute. Oh man, it's been a while since I've hit anything too good. Alright, I can give it a shot though. Alright, so right now we have an HKB now, this time lube with 3204 and with stabs with 205. It shouldn't be a big difference, but hopefully you hear something different. If not, well, we'll see. This is why we try it out. Oh, I don't think it's still on there. Alright, cool. Let's give it a shot. Now lube with 3204 and stabs with 205. Still stock OEM keycaps. Oops. A little nervous. Right, love the Topre sound. Yeah, jinxed it. Yeah, it's too bad. Onk, hello, how's it going? So you guys like the sound? Is it different? I actually don't know. We would have to hear it side to side to actually know, right? If somebody clipped maybe the previous one. All right, here are the mods. Yeah, maybe a little bit quieter. Yeah, just a tad. Not by too much. I do think the spacebar sounds a little bit deeper, maybe. But I think that's about it. Like, it's maybe slightly deeper, slightly quieter. Compared to stock. Especially on the alphas. Would you recommend a damping mat for HKB? Only if you need it. I would say, like, it's not... Some people love it, but it's not like you need it. Yeah, I would say only if you find that like it makes like it's maybe sits uneven on your desk or something like that, you know. It's kind of nice to have something that just kind of like pads it up, but it's not a bad mat, so to speak. The only thing is it sticks on your entire bottom portion of the HHKB, so it just sticks to the whole back portion, so you would see like this black mat just like stuck under there for the whole time. Gonna hit the hey, good night extra Prius, please. I always fear it'll get gross after a few years. It doesn't get that gross, I don't think. You can clean it. The new damping mat is a lot better than the old one. Oh, really? Oh, actually, no. I haven't tried the new one, actually. Okay, never mind. Forget about what I said. If the new one's better, I trust GZ Prime because he has had both of them. I haven't had the new one, so I think it's probably good. But yeah, this sounds pretty nice. Topre, pretty classic. Just sounds pretty good overall. But yeah. Many packs of Lucky Strike do I have to smoke a day to turn the case yellow? I think you just have to smoke consistently for so many years, like a decade. It's so bad. But yeah. I think it came out nice. Personally, 32.4 is my favorite on this, on HHKB in general. I think it's great. So good. Topre. Good old Topre. Okay, so let's just show it off here. Just good old Topre. HHKB Pro Hybrid. Type S. So it has our silencing over here. Can we get a zoom in on the artisan? Yes, you can. We can, yes. So back. I'm not sure how close it can focus. Oh, there. It can focus pretty close. There goes our thumbnail. 3, 2, 1, boom. Alright, cool. And then you can check it out from above here. There it is. Whoop. But yeah, if you wanted to look at it closer, then yeah, here. And then on the other side. Yep. There it is. Have you tried a heavy grail? Yes, I have. It's pretty nice. Heavy grail, definitely. I mean, it's like one of the few now, I think, available aluminum Topre choices for the HHKB. I would say either heavy grail or EVA are pretty much like a lot of people will get these days. But I haven't tried the other ones, so I don't know. But the times I've tried the heavy grill, I've enjoyed it. Takes a bit of modding. I mean, like just a bit of work just to transfer everything over and whatnot. But the build process is not too bad as long as you follow the instructions, to be honest. And OnKit, yes, I do. It's on my, I think it's on my other board. Good night, Juan. Have a good one. All right. So, y'all have any questions or anything? Anything else? I'm pretty much done for the night. So that was it. 2 hours to mod and, well, I guess a little less, like an hour and 40 minutes, I'd say. Not bad. All right, I guess if there's not anything else, we're gonna go ahead and see who's currently streaming. She don't know, so let's go check. Oh, I see Miss Patty is streaming. She's doing some mill maxing. I see Batizi. You go raid Batizi, doing a cyberboard. Don't think I've raided Batizi before, but couldn't hurt. Couldn't hurt to raid. Let's see here. I see Mr. Tim. Oh, Tim. Tim is streaming too. That's also rare. Don't see him stream nearly as often these days. So it's also, I think just time zones don't get to catch him too often. Yeah, no worries. So who shall we raid? Do you want me to raid Patty? Do you want me to raid Tim? Or do you want me to raid Batizi? I think those are the 3 people who are doing keyword stuff right now. Otherwise, we can raid somebody else. That's fine too. Patty or Tim? I guess there's 2 people here talking. Alright, I'm gonna flip a coin since there's no consensus. Alright, what does the coin toss say? Coin toss. And it's tails, so I think that's Tim. Alright, let's go raid Tim. I'm sure he'll raid Patty probably afterwards, so but his streams can be kind of long. So we'll see how it goes. Alright. Me go read. Let's just say Thok a lot of times. Thok. Meow go. There. Alright, friends. That's all I have for tonight. So again, as I said, I will be on Intel's stream on Saturday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to be at PAX East. So tune in for that. I think it's going to be co-streamed to my channel, so you probably will see my channel also go live, but I actually don't know the specifics of it just yet. So yeah, for those who might be in Boston, say hi if you are. But otherwise, I'll catch you guys on Saturday morning/afternoon, depending where you are, or night. And yeah, I'll probably see you guys next week for some other stuff. I think I have Forever 65 and GMV2ME to build. See you guys. I'll see you all later. Bye. Have a good night.